We don't sleep out in the fields like animals." In Cheyenne Falls, they stared. They talked. And Marya's mother knew, though she couldn't always hear. "Such people," they said. "Hill people, whispering, staring." Marya was lost in Woolworth's, separated from her mother and Davy. So she ran up and down the aisles, wild, panting, half-sobbing, bumping into people, pushing her way through a knot of women shoppers, using her fists, even butting with her head. "Isn't she a little savage?" someone said in disgust. "Just look at her. Those eyes." Marya clapped her hands over her eyes and disappeared. She couldn't see anybody then, and they couldn't see her. She just disappeared, the way dreams do when a light is switched on. "Wake up," Marya's mother was saying. "Wake up," she said, her voice rising impatiently. "We're going out." Marya heard the rain still hammering on the roof, dripping from the eaves. At the corner of the house, the rain barrel would be overflowing. The smells were of tar paper, asbestos siding, kerosene, rain-rotted wood. Marya was watching her father back out of the driveway, one arm on the back of the seat, the other snaked around the steering wheel. He gunned the motor so hard that the Chevy's chassis rocked and the rear bumper struck the gravel. She and Davy were playing in the rain, trying to jump over the longest puddle without getting their feet wet, but they were already wet. When the mud dried on Marya's legs, she picked it off like scabs, which was maybe why her mother was so angry. "Stop touching yourself! Stop picking at yourself! You kids are driving me crazy!" Marya's mother was hunched over the bed, shaking her by the shoulders. The overhead light that Marya hated had been switched on, a single naked bulb that made her eyes ache. "Marya, God damn it!" her mother said, panting. "Get up! I know you've been awake all along, and I know you've been listening. Get up and get Davy dressed." Marya's mother was wearing the black cotton slacks that were too tight at the waist, and one of Marya's father's flannel shirts, only half-buttoned. Marya could see her heavy breasts swinging loose inside the shirt. Her hair was matted and wild. Her eyes looked wild, too. You could see that most of her lipstick had been worn off, or caked in queer little cracks on her lower lip. Davy was already awake, whimpering, frightened. When Marya tried to haul him out of bed, he kicked at her, so she pummeled him and said, "God damn it! Don't you try none of those tricks on me." Her mother had already gone back into the kitchen. Davy was 3 years old, small for his age, always whining, crying, wiping his nose on his sleeve. When he groped at Marya, blinking like a kitten only a few days old, saying, "Mama, Mama," she slapped his hands away. "Damn baby," Marya whispered. "You hadn't better have wet the bed." "Where are we going?" Marya asked, trying not to cry. The kitchen smelled of kerosene, wood smoke, spilled, scorched food from the night before. "Are we going to town?" "Never mind," her mother said. She wasn't looking at Marya. She was stooped over the baby in his high chair, spooning cold baby food into his mouth. "Where's Daddy?" Marya asked. She knew the driveway was empty, but she looked out the window anyway. "Where's the car?" "Make sure Davy eats something," her mother said. Her voice was low, flat, quick. It was a voice Marya hadn't heard very often. "And don't you spit that stuff out when I'm not looking. That's all the breakfast you're going to get." Marya was supposed to be feeding Davy while her mother fed the baby in his wobbly high chair, but it was too early to eat. The clock on the windowsill had stopped at 3:25. The sun wasn't up. The rain still pounded.